Apostle College. Well, what do you want me to say? Fade starts at 9:15. That's why it says 9:15.
Fucking faggot puts the goddamn camera so goddamn close. Fucking piece of shit.
How'd the Nala video get taken down yesterday? They
Fucking
needed to edit
piece of
something
shit.
in it, I guess. What a clumsy Canadian. Are we still doing the Canadian meme? Are we still doing that? Are we still doing the Canadian meme? Should I end each argument with A? That's a stupid argument, eh? I'll give him the old maple syrup razzle dazzle. Give him the old 3-leaf razzle dazzle.
Sorry, I don't know why it's started doing these scene things and now it's not doing things the way it's supposed to be doing them. Let me remove everybody. 1, 2, 3. Why is it fucking doing this shit? Delete scene? I don't know. That's okay. We'll play it by ear. Fair enough. All right. Everybody saw we have a 7-minute opening this time. 7-minute openers. I believe since Zach, you have the affirmative, so you would go first. Are you good with that?
Sure.
Okay. And Andrew, you'll go second, and then we'll flip at the end.
What is that,
we'll
dog?
do
French
2
vanilla?
hours debate. If it gets stagnant, I will just go into
Damn,
reading
dog.
the super chats and we can end it if it becomes that way. Otherwise, we'll go the full 2 hours, read and respond to the super chats. And
Guy
then
says he
if you guys
fucking
are
hates
staying,
French,
you're
but he
welcome to
gets
take
up
the open panel.
French.
If not, I'll wait until you both exit and then I'll open the panel.
Sure.
Do we have any questions, gentlemen?
Nope.
Andrew, you're good? Okay. All right. I've got the intro video that will play, and I will put you backstage, and then I'll bring you both back up about 30 seconds before the video ends. All right. Well, let's get started. Wow, it's already hot in here. Captain's log, June 2nd, 2836. After 27.
I'm just muting it for you guys. You're welcome. It's still going, by the way.
The F22.
Still going.
Oh. Dog, this ain't looking good, man.
Still going.
No, I'm looking at the piece of shit Lego thing I'm seeing in front of me. It's got no thrust vectoring, dog. It's fucking trash. Fucking bitch. Was that a piece of shit? Nice. You build your shitty F22.
Oh, it did it again. All right. Good
I'm building
evening,
my
gentlemen
my
and ladies.
SR-71
Welcome
dog.
back to the Raging Tomato. I am Sarah, here bringing to you live another Moderator Monday. This evening, I have Andrew Wilson from the Crucible and the Misfit Patriot bringing forth the debate of should
Huh?
Christians support Zionism. We're
You
going
gotta
to get
fix
into
your
this
fucking
debate.
mic, dude.
Misfit
Jesus
Patriot, I believe
Christ.
you are starting with your opening statement.
Yeah, thank you. Don't have one prepared. I don't even really know why Andrew wants to debate me because I think that it's going to be a theological thing. And as I stated in the last debate with, I believe it's his friend, Jay something. I'm not a biblical scholar, and I think that there is a lot of rhetoric around like this. These people's interpretation of the Bible. The Bible can be contextualized, right? Unlike the Quran, it's like you can be open to interpretation, and everybody's got their own opinion about what this meant
Ugh.
and what that meant. And you get a lot of chat GPT Christians out there who go, oh, well, this is actually what happened, and this is actually what happened. And a lot of it is either bullshit or confirmation bias. So the argument that I was trying to make in the previous debate, which I was kicked out of because Jay didn't
Oh.
like being trolled, which again
You
wasn't
ever
even a
had
debate.
Schweppes
I love the
ginger
fact
ale?
that we're actually doing a moderator here, and hopefully we're going to have an actual discussion, and it's not going to be just cheap tricks and fucking
What do you think
gaslighting.
of it?
The argument that I was trying to make is yes, Christians should support Zionism because just the simple fact that you know
I'm just having one right
Jesus
now.
was a Jew. I mean, I don't understand that. And yeah, there's going to be people that are like, no, he
Do you
wasn't
like
just
it
Christian.
better
No,
than
he was a Jew.
Canada Dry?
I think that a lot of this,
Bitch, I asked you a
you know,
question.
cherry picking and trying to figure out whether or not you are accurately interpreting whether or not there's some replacement
Why the fuck
theology
is
or
it so shiny,
suppressionism
dude?
versus the dual covenant, which is what I believe.
The Lego?
It really doesn't matter. You should support Zionism because Jesus
Oh,
forgave the
man.
Jews. The Jews are an
Can't have
innocent
it be
people who
shiny,
deserve the
dog.
right to their homeland. You can make the theological debate for Zionism, or you can make the modern Zionism debate, which Theodore Herzl
Is it
started, which wasn't
F22
even
in
trying
real
to go
life
to
shiny,
Israel. He was
dog?
trying to go anywhere, just so that they could
Hmm?
escape persecution. I argue both, but I can
No, it's
argue the
not.
theological debate. But somebody
No.
like Andrew, who's probably more versed in the Bible, is going to be able to rattle off a bunch of passages and try to trip me up, and you'll probably be fine doing that. That could be a neat little tactic, or you can understand that I might not know all of those passages off the top of my head,
The
and you can
jets
try
are...
to
The engines are
talk to me
circular?
like I was hoping the last person would talk to me. Speak to me like a general, normal Christian who doesn't know everything you know,
At the outlet, though?
and I think we can have a respectful debate that's an
You
actual
gonna
debate.
have it
If
be
you're ready to do that, I'm ready to do
accurate,
that,
or are
and I
you
think
just
there's nothing
gonna
wrong with it.
fucking do whatever the
That's good
fuck you
enough for me.
want?
Thank you, Misfit. Andrew, to you.
Yeah, so wasn't expecting the we should support Zionism because Jesus was a Jew argument, but
That's
here
not
we
what I'm
are.
at. Oh, okay, good.
So
Good.
this debate is
Good.
somewhat strange
Fucking piece of
because
shit.
the
No, I thought
prompt,
you were
while
gonna be a
straightforward, doesn't
retard. I
really
don't
afford
know.
much wiggle room to my opponent. Now, so that the audience and he
Nice.
understands, there was no
You wanna
trickery here.
fucking mumble that
I
word
proposed a
again?
different debate
Huh?
prompt, which was should Christians support
Stutter it,
Zionism
you
based on
fucking
the Bible?
retard.
That debate prompt actually made a lot more sense and was ultimately far more charitable to my opponent, but for some
That's
reason
all I
he
heard.
insisted on rejecting it, opting for the prompt, should Christians support Zionism, with him in the affirmative instead. The reason this is strange to me is because I don't really understand how you can tell a Christian they should do anything at all absent biblical grounding or Christian ethics as the base of the ought. I just don't even understand how that could be done. He's actually debating the affirmative that Christians should do a thing here, but rejects they should do it
Are you
based
gonna
on the
make it
Bible.
glow?
Note here that any arguments made from the Bible being the basis for why Christians should support
How are you
Zionism
going
are
to
going to be
make
rejected by
the
me, as he
fucking
rejected that prompt
thrusters
altogether, opting for the more
glow?
difficult ought claim. I can only assume this is because he doesn't really understand debate very well or what we're trying to determine here. Now that I said I essentially think the arguments, and this is essentially what I think his arguments will be, and I was proven right. Ultimately, he'll default to is the Bible,
Why those white
um,
pieces?
or he'll default to a biblical argument, which is going to make this even more strange, even because he rejected the prompt. So it's
Nah.
very strange. But now to the arguments themselves. My opponent will likely use the following arguments, and I'll refute
Where'd
them
you
all
hear
right now,
this?
and I'll refute them during the debate. 1, Christians should support Israel or Zionism, or they are supporting X group.
Nah. Nah. That's oh, if you could fucking zoom in on the image. No, that's not white. That's fucking gray, you piece of shit. Oh, that's gray, dog.
Group. This is a common argument, but it's fallacious immediately. It's a false dilemma argument. 2, Christians should support Zionism because Jewish people deserve a homeland.
Dog,
You
you're
saw I
gonna
already made
make
that
yourself
argument.
shit
While
with
not a
that much French
fallacious
vanilla, man.
argument, he would then need to apply this to every other
And
group which
I'm
exists
just
in
using
order to
what
be
you've said in the
consistent, which would include
past.
Palestinians.
Trying to
3,
remind you.
Israel is currently fighting a justified war. This argument's also fine. It's just it doesn't tell us
What
why
is that, like
Christians
an
should
extra,
support it,
extra
even if he
large,
thinks it's
dude?
justified.
Seems like a
4,
lot.
back to the biblical thing that he doesn't want to talk about, just because I think he'll default to this anyway. I just figure I'll go ahead and address it. He'll bring up Genesis 12:3, which I rightly should reject, as the biblical justifications were already rejected by him, but I'll engage anyway and offer multiple refutations, including Romans and Galatians, starting with Romans 9:6-13, continuing into church history, church father teachings on this,
So my
as well
head,
as the Bible
my
itself.
headset
5, ultimately, my opponent will simply
is
come
coming
down to what
in
he
the
prefers,
13th.
and he prefers Zionism. That's fine, but he can't really criticize people who don't prefer Zionism.
So next Thursday.
Now, to my arguments for why Christians shouldn't
Hopefully
support
it's
Zionism.
fucking in good
1,
condition.
the lack of justification for an ought. The Bible doesn't say Christians must support the modern state
Yeah.
of Israel anywhere, so there
Just,
isn't
you
a
know,
compelling reason as to
I
why
don't know,
Christians should do so.
retards drive
2, any justification for why Christians
trucks
should support
sometimes, right?
Zionism
Oh.
falls well outside of just USA interests, but into Christians all over the globe, including Palestinian Christians and Orthodox that reside there. And he essentially will have to support why Christians in Gaza should
You said
support
they're
Zionism,
overpaid?
which I'm really going to enjoy watching him try to do. 3,
Well, I don't
I
know.
don't believe there's any magic blood theory
I don't
that
know if
any
it's
peoples
Canada
are protected
Post.
by God, or that you are told to protect certain peoples by God
It might be,
based on their blood from the Christian view, as clarified by
yeah,
Paul.
I don't know.
4, that Christian ethics is very clear on what ought or ought not be done by
I
Christians.
don't even know
and
how
that
much
there are
they're
many
paid.
justifications in the current war, which for Christian ethics would be to support the millions of innocent lives in Gaza, including Christians and children, and support the innocent lives of Jews in Israel. We can do both. 5, there is no great imperative here.
But
Even if there
dog,
is a war being
truckers are
fought
the
on one side, and one side has justification
backbone
over
of
another
this
for Christians to act at all,
country,
which
dog.
would include support for one side or the other. Under Christian ethics, caring for those wounded on both sides, assisting in aid for those who no longer have homes, and caring for
It was the
refugees falls under the
truckers
ethical purview
protesting
far
for
better
your
than picking a side to support in
freedom,
this
dog.
long-standing conflict with military aid or weapons or manpower. Globally, the most ethical thing for Christians to do if they can't stop a war,
So what are you saying,
I can
dog?
certainly argue
Don't they drive
against
trucks,
supporting
dog?
war on either side. 6, my last argument is that neutrality in conflict is also a very workable solution when
UPS
it comes
doesn't
to
drive
Middle Eastern
trucks?
affairs, especially for Christians who are often put in unworkable moral dilemmas where support for either
Yeah.
side of a conflict may not be
Yeah.
just or virtuous, but rather staying out of the conflict to focus on their own people groups may indeed be the most just and virtuous thing they can do. I'd like to hear his
dude, imagine
argument
they
against
drive an entire
neutrality as
fucking
well.
trailer up to your house just
Ultimately,
to
my
deliver
read on this
like
guy
a
is
fucking
he's just
book.
kind of a typical neocon, and that's it. I don't have any bad blood against him or personal issues with him. I don't know him, but his arguments on this that I've researched are very flimsy, and that's exactly what I'm
Next
here to
time,
show.
next time you
Lastly,
fucking
I
order
actually take
something,
debate seriously, so of course
keep
I
your
prepared ahead
door
for my
open
opponent's
and let your
positions
dog
and his
fucking
standards
maul
for
them to
them,
death, okay?
and I doubt he did the same. And I was, of course, right. I wrote this
Oh, no, I
opening
definitely
statement,
didn't.
but I knew that would be the case. Unlike Jay Dyer, who
Why
doesn't
do
have
you
patience
hate
for this kind of thing, there
UPS,
is no
dog? What did
escape.
they ever do to you? Yeah. Yeah, so why the hate? Dog?
I won't kick you. I won't talk to him. And I doubt he did the same. And I was, of course, right. I wrote this
Oh no,
opening
I definitely
statement,
didn't.
but I knew that that would be the case. Unlike Jay Dyer, who doesn't have patience for this kind of thing, there is no escape. I won't kick you. I won't toss you. I
Dog, I
won't
don't
in the
see a
stream.
space for
And you are fucking
intake.
trapped here with me for hours. May God
fine with
have
that.
mercy on your soul because I'm not going to. With that,
No,
I'd
no,
like to dive
absolutely not.
right into the open dialogue.
No, dog, I can't.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Let me just do a little
The
switch on the screen to
darkness.
fix this. It's bothering me now. And just a kind reminder, we will go into open panel after this debate is done. We will do about 2 hours of debate. We will read and respond to super chats, and then we'll go into open panel dumpster fire. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share from wherever you're watching from. Outside of that, gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Okay, so my first question to you, and we can get to your cross examination later if you'd like to. Why ought Christians support
well,
Zionism?
building.
First, can you give us a definition of Zionism and then why Christians ought to support it? I'm sorry. We'll start with that.
Yeah, as from what I understand, Zionism
Dude, those pieces
is
have
the
gaps in between
right
them,
of
man.
the
That's
Jewish
not good.
people to live in peace in their native homeland. That's the way
Nah.
they view it.
And hang
Talking
on,
where the
I just want to
cockpit
clarify a
is.
couple points as we go. I don't mean to cut you off, and I'll give you
Sure.
plenty of time to speak, but I want to clarify the
Don't you
Jewish
see that
homeland
big
being
gap?
Israel, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so
Well,
it's
the
actually.
land of Israel, basically the land that God
Oh, I see
promised
you don't care about
Abraham
perfection.
and his descendants.
Okay, so it's the right of the Jewish people to Israel or not? To the modern state of Israel.
Not the modern state. No.
Okay, well, so where is this Israel that they're promised?
Well, then there's the debate of where is it, right? Based on the Bible, and there's the greater Israel, so they can go back to the
Well,
Bible.
I'm
I'm
not
not making that
debating any of
argument.
that yet. I'm
I'm
just
saying the
wanting to
right.
know where it is and what it is and what Zionism is.
Sure. I don't have the map in front of me, but let's just use Israel, the modern state, because apparently the Jews have accepted that concession. So let's just put it there, just for argument's sake.
So it's the right of the Jewish people to live in Israel in
Ugh.
peace,
Sure.
and
Exactly.
that they have a right to Israel, correct?
Yeah, the right that I would argue is, again, both from a theological debate and just from a debate that it is their ancestral homeland. I mean, they can be traced back to it more than any Arab, Palestinian, or other person. Somebody might make the argument, well, the Native Americans and blah 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 over here, and yes, I understand, but the Jewish people have been persecuted over thousands of years and pushed out of every other place. So I'm not trying to make this confusing or conflating two completely different things. I'm just saying I do believe in both, where the Jewish people in the modern state of Israel, under modern Zionism, Theodore Herzl's idea, would apply based off of their modern persecution, but they've also been persecuted in this multi-thousand-year-old holy war.
Well, hang on. Before we get to the
go ahead.
reasoning, which I'm happy to dive into, I just want to make sure that we're clear on the
Sure.
semantics here. So, the right of the Jewish people to live in Israel in peace.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. And it's also their right to that land, correct?
I would say so.
Okay, got it. Okay,
Because they fought for it. Yeah.
so you would accept that I'm not strawmanning your definition if I say the right of the Jewish people to live in Israel and the right of Israel to that land.
Correct. Yeah.
And that would be the Jewish people who then have the right to that land, right?
That is my argument. Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, well, that not your argument, just your definition of Zionism. Right?
Yeah, my definition of Zionism.
Okay.
To simplify it.
So what's your argument for this right?
Once again, the not only the promise, the Abrahamic covenant, but mixing that in with the persecution that they've endured, trying to fight for their homeland, in conjunction with what I know you don't believe this, but I believe that the Abrahamic covenant, by God,
Sure, dog.
who is omnipotent, is
What'd they
forever.
send you?
I believe he promised it to Abraham and his descendants. I think that you have to.
Yo,
and I'm sure
get
people will
the
disagree with
fuck
this.
out of here, dude.
when you apply that
Was it
to
like a
the
Valentine's Day
Jews, there's
special
some
or
people
some
that are going to
shit?
say, "Oh, but then you'd have to trace back every person's lineage to Abraham." I'm of a different,
I mean, damn, dude.
you know, of a perspective where I think that the people who, you know, convert to Judaism and
Yeah,
accept
that's nice of
Judaism and
them.
under the Judaism religion, started by, you know, the 12 tribes of Israel and you know, Jacob and all that stuff. And I might butcher this, by the way. Again, just want to clarify, I'm not great with
Hey,
theological
man, free
accuracy
shit,
on
dude.
the little things. But from my understanding, Abraham's
Okay,
sons,
well, I'm
12
just
tribes of
saying
Israel, I believe
they
it
could
was,
have
then their
not thrown
descendants
that in.
created a great nation. So the nation of Israel is what is the umbrella that the Jews are protected under this covenant. As far as I can tell, that's my interpretation of it. And those people who are all included in there, I believe, as Christians who follow Christ, who loved the Jewish people, who was a Jew himself, the King of Jews, would agree with that. My argument is, again, like you said, um, well, if Jesus was a Jew, then it's not really that simple. It's what would Jesus do? Would Jesus be a Zionist? And I think that if you are a follower of Christ, you want to emulate Christ, I think Christ would be a Zionist. So I am trying to follow that lead.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that I steelman your argument correctly. I'm going to summarize it. If there's something that I'm missing, please let me know.
Sure.
So you think that essentially Jesus would be a Zionist. In other words, he would want the modern Jewish state of Israel to be there, and that he would want the people to have a right to that land in the modern Jewish state, and he would want Christians to support that right based on the old Abrahamic covenant, which has to do with the two children. You're talking about, I'm guessing, Isaac. That's what you're referencing, right? The covenant. Okay, so
Sure.
so based on that, you think that Christians should support.
Ugh.
Now, just to kind of go through this argument, let me offer up a couple of very quick questions before I give you any refutations. First, should Christians fight on behalf of Jews for this right?
That's a good question. It's a complicated question, but I would say that the Christians should have the option to fight next to their brothers under Christ, but as nations, making decisions, no.
Well, I don't
I'm trying to.
understand. If
So, but like the
Christians,
United States, like a Christian
so
nation,
how
like the
ought
United States.
Christians support Israel then? How ought they support the Jews?
Well, they should just support them,
What does
like
that
you.
mean?
Well,
We just
okay,
go yay? We just go yay? Like what does that
okay,
mean?
yes. Then they should. That's why I said, are you talking about
I'm asking
going
how ought
going in? Are you talking
Christians?
about under
Yeah, I'm
modern
asking how ought
modern rules
Christians
of
support
fighting?
this right?
Should we arm up and stand
No,
next
I'm
to them?
asking you how ought Christians support this right that
Well,
you
fight.
claim?
Yes, they should fight with them, but fight is a subjective term. I don't know if you're meaning it in the literal definition of
I didn't
Christians
ask you about
throwing.
fighting. I asked how they ought. How ought they support them?
They should support them just with moral
Ugh.
encouragement, with just acknowledgement.
So
Just
cheerlead.
yeah, if you want to call it that, sure.
So Christians ought to support this endeavor by cheerleading it.
Now you're putting words in my mouth. I said that they
Well,
should
I
Huh?
asked you literally if you mean
offer
cheerleading, and
moral
you said
support,
yes.
offer moral support,
Moral
offer
support.
just offer a
Fuck did you say,
condemnation
cunt?
of people that are trying to persecute them and push them out. And if necessary, then yes, they can stand and physically fight next to their Jewish brothers and sisters.
Okay. Ought Christians give aid to Palestinians who are innocent, who get blown up in this conflict, even if that would in some way aid Israel, or I'm sorry, hamper Israel's effort to their right of this land? Ought Christians, in other words,
Should Christians?
give
Yeah.
aid to the enemies of Israel in order to secure their right to this land, even if it involves children and women and things like this who are innocent?
In my opinion, the enemies of Israel wouldn't be true Christians. So no.
So we ought not. So if there's children, so Christians who are in Palestine right now are not
Mhm.
Christians.
If they are supporting the genocide of the Jewish people, no, they're not
Well,
following. They're
what
not
if they're
following
just
Christ.
neutral?
If they're neutral, then yeah, we should help them. We should support them. I have nothing against the Palestinian peaceful people, especially the
But
Christians.
what if that in some way hinders the Israeli effort to have a right to their land? Ought we
Well,
then help?
the Israelis aren't trying to slaughter Christians.
Yeah, that's not what I asked. I didn't ask what they're doing. I
But
asked
how?
if it
So
was
how would it hinder them?
so you would agree with me that inside of war, innocents die. There's no way around that, right?
Correct.
Okay, so in this case, there's going to be a lot of neutral people who are in Gaza
Hmm.
who are going to get hurt quite badly, who Christians can aid, right? However, this could in some way hinder the Israelis' plan for whatever their plan is for a right to their land. Let's say that they have a plan, for instance, to eliminate all the Gazans eventually, or whatever it is.
Hmm.
That could actually hinder them. So should we just not render any aid to those people?
Well, no, it's a very complex question. You're talking about how do you execute a war with killing zero people, even the ones that you align with, religiously, your brothers and sisters under Christ. There's no right answer. I mean,
There's no right answer.
it's the trolley analogy.
It's
You
not a
have one.
trolley analogy.
It is. I
What?
mean, you're
Well,
gonna have
hang on. No,
people are
that's a
people are
false.
going to
No, no,
die in
no.
war.
The trolley analogy is giving you a bifurcated choice. There's only two. This is not a choice where there's only two. There's 20,000 different choices which could be made, right?
Hmm.
What I'm asking you is if Christians ought to support Israel in its endeavor to right to the land, If that is the case, and in any way, shape, or form by rendering aid to what Israel considers to be its enemies, however it classifies them, are Christians doing the wrong thing?
No, but once again,
No.
Israel does not view the Christians in Palestine as their enemy.
That's not
So
my
you're
question. My question isn't about an is statement. It's about an ought statement. I'm not descriptively asking you what is the
ought
case right now.
ought Israel
I'm
ought
at no, no.
Israel.
Let me finish the question.
Go
Here's
ahead.
my question. Very simple. Okay. If the situation, let's just say for a second that Jews decided that all Gazans are the enemies of Israel, all of them.
Yeah, you're posing a hypothetical.
Yeah, I know. What's wrong with hypotheticals? You don't like them?
No, they're not real. This isn't a real
Yeah, I understand,
scenario.
but that's how we test logic is with hypotheticals, right? You agree?
Okay, so if Israel wanted to do what it's not doing, what would I say that they should do that they're not doing?
No. Let me
No.
ask them. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, how would you feel if you didn't eat breakfast this
Very
morning?
nice. Very, very
What do
nice.
you mean?
How would you feel if you didn't eat breakfast this morning?
Probably hungry.
Yeah, probably. So you can't engage with hypotheticals, right? Even though you did not, in fact, eat breakfast this morning, you do know how you would feel if indeed you had not eaten breakfast this morning.
Sure.
Therefore, I know that you can use reason. So since
Sure.
we're moving into the idea of reason, can I just ask you to reason this out for me? Your position is that Israel has a right to this land and that Christians ought to support that right. So if it were the case that Israel decided to classify all Gazans as enemies of Israel, should not Christians support that?
Um, if Israel decided to classify all Gazans,
All Palestinians, yes.
then I would say no.
Okay, but that's a contradiction. Then you just got caught in a
No, it's
logical
not.
contradiction. It is because if it is the case logically that we ought to
would be
support the
genocide.
right, we ought
That
to
would be
support.
genocide.
Yeah, but if we ought to support the right of Israel to have this nation, then
Mhm.
anybody who Israel classifies as an enemy, why ought Christians say no? Is it because we should defer to Christian ethics?
Well, they wouldn't be acting in the adherence of the Torah. Then we wouldn't be supporting them. Again, a
What?
hypothetical. You're saying
Why
that
wouldn't we be supporting them? That's
you're saying
weird.
that if Israel wanted to commit genocide, should
Uh-huh.
Christians support it? I'm
Yeah.
saying no, because
Yeah, but
they're not.
why not?
Because it's wrong to commit genocide.
So then we shouldn't defer to Israel's right
You're
to
making a
this.
logical fallacy.
So
though.
wait, so hang
They're
on.
not doing it. They're
So
not doing it.
that's not a logical fallacy. They're not doing something is not a logical. Can you name the fallacy? Is it that you just made it the fuck up fallacy?
You are creating a scenario that
Yeah.
doesn't exist
In order to test your logic, that's
asking
correct.
me to answer a
Mhm.
hypothetical that does not exist.
Oh, okay. If
right?
if a glass fell off your desk and onto the hard ground,
If a purple
yeah.
elephant flew around the room, what
Mhm.
would I do? It's a fucking stupid question.
Why is it
That's the-
stupid?
because it's not in reality.
So most hypotheticals are not in reality because they're designed to test,
Well,
logic.
why don't you come back to reality and
I'm
pose a
in
hypothetical
reality
that
right
actually-
now.
that actually exists?
What we're trying to do is make a determination as to whether or not we should actually support the right of Jews to have this state, even if it violates Christian ethics. And you say no, and I'm trying to figure out and ascertain why, because I thought we're supposed to and ought to support this. But you're saying no, we only ought to support it under certain conditionals. So what are those conditionals? That's what I'm asking.
The condition would be that Israel and the Jewish people act in accordance with their faith, because they are only our brothers and sisters, right? Under the same Judeo-Christian value system, if they adhere to that value system. So I wouldn't support somebody that wasn't adhering to that value system. So if they wanted to commit genocide, I would say no, you can't support genocide.
So if Israel became a secular nation, you wouldn't support it anymore?
I mean, I don't really know what that would look like.
Why don't you tell me how many secular Jews are in Israel right now?
I do not know the answer to that.
So you don't even know if they're secular or not secular?
No, I do not.
So you don't even know if you would support them if they were secular or weren't secular?
I
Oh,
don't know about
You
your
don't know.
hypotheticals.
You don't know. So okay. Well, hang on. Let's take a look.
Sure.
We'll just take a peek. Pull up the stats, right?
Sure. I'm trying to do it myself.
Mhm.
And while they're
So
looking, just
about
oh,
32.9% of Jews in Israel identify as traditional, and 11.5% identify as religious, according to the 2023 statistics. So
mhm.
I'd just like to note, I thought that one of your conditionals was that the Jews there had to be practicing, Judaism, and it appears
So
that most
what,
of them
11?
aren't.
Did you say? I thought you said 11%. I might have misheard you.
Yeah, sorry, 11.5% identify as religious. 11.5%.
44.9% of Jews identify as secular, and
Uh-huh.
45% of Jews. Yeah. Okay. So
So you're supporting
do
a
we?
secular. So we ought not to actually support Israel because it's a secular nation. They're not following your conditionals, right?
hmm Well, I mean, did God? I'm sorry, not Jesus. Did God put a stipulation on the
I
Jews?
thought
Like, I
you
mean,
said it
because
didn't have anything to do with blood. You said it had nothing to do with blood because it would also
sure.
associate with converts. So your
No, you make you,
criteria. So you hang on. So your criteria for this actually is what? That they have to be following Jewish ethics, and right now they have a secular state. Can you reconcile that for me, sir?
okay. So we're supposed to ignore the 44.9% that do follow the religion because they're
Your
living with.
criteria. Oh, okay.
They're
Hang on.
living with, right,
So
the
your
other.
criteria was we're supposed to support it because
Well,
these are
you're making it. They
no,
all
no,
have.
no. Listen, this is what you said. We should support the state of Israel because
Mhm.
there are brothers because they follow the Torah and they follow
Well,
biblical ethics.
half
And
half of the
the
people
and
in that
hang on,
region
and
do.
the case is actually it's a secular state, right? Hmm.
2.8 million of the 6.3 million Jews there. Okay, so
So
there's more Jews that are religious than are not.
that's not
Right.
what I'm
So,
reading. No.
well, we're getting different statistics. Either
Well,
way, no,
okay.
I'll answer your question. I'll answer your question. No, it does not have to be 100% of the Jews
Well, how
need to
many?
be. Um, well, we could use Sodom and Gomorrah as an example, right?
So just
50.
one?
Just one. Yeah.
So just one.
Fucking
So if there's just one practicing
just
Jew in
one
Israel,
practicing Jew, and we got to support the whole thing because we follow the word of God. Look,
and
bless thee
that's
that bless.
not that doesn't seem to you to be absurd and stupid at all, does it?
Look, bless thee that bless them
Uh
is
huh.
referring to the Jews, and I'm agreeing with you. It's probably the people that are practicing their faith,
Uh huh.
right, or that could eventually come back to Christ, right? So let's call it the religious Jews. If you
Uh
have
huh.
a large number of religious Jews living in their homeland, I believe they have a right to their homeland.
How many?
Now, if you have them mixed in
Yeah, how many
with,
though?
hold on, if you have them mixed in with these non-practicing Jews, right? Are
Hmm.
we supposed to say, oh, because some of you don't follow the teachings of the Torah, then we have to now get rid of all of you because you're just not you're not following our standard of
Well,
what
help me
you
out
should be
here.
doing.
If you go ahead, take a second, and look it up. Is Israel becoming more or less secular? Go ahead.
I think the whole world is
Yeah, is Israel becoming more or less secular?
probably. Yeah,
Probably
probably.
what? More or
A
less?
lot, the entire world is
Yeah. So
moving
my
further and
question
further away
is
from God.
Israel becoming more or less secular?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I
probably
don't think.
what? More or less is it's a multiple choice. It's not a yeah, probably. If I asked you
More
if you were
secular.
tall or short, you wouldn't say yeah, probably because you would
Yeah,
look like a
I
fucking
understand.
idiot, right?
I
So
understand.
more or
Yeah,
less,
I understand that you're used to like debating OnlyFans people. You're not gonna
they
like
make
get me
way better
rattled or trip
arguments
me
than
up.
you do, sir. So back to
You're not
this, if we could just
you're not gonna trip me
I'm
up.
sure
I'm
that
not
you're
some
used to
hooker that gets
debating
into a
about whether
fucking
you
thing.
want another patty on your cheeseburger, but if we get back to the fucking argument, that would be great. Can you
Are you
tell
gonna get triggered?
me
Are you gonna get triggered? You
you
can't
look,
boot
you're
me,
the one who looks triggered. So anyway, can you answer my question, please?
Yes, your bullshit question. I already answered it.
Yeah,
More.
so more. Okay, great. So then you would say that even though that's a hypothetical, what if Israel becomes almost purely secular nation, even though that hypothetical seems to have merit because, like you said, not only Israel, but the entire world is becoming more secular. That does appear to be something which is going to come up, doesn't it? That you're going to be supporting a secular nation, not a actual practicing Jewish nation. So
No,
how many
we'll cross
practicing
that bridge
so
when
how
we
many
come to it.
practicing Jews need well right now it's the case. There's more
It's not
secular
the case.
Jews than there are religious in Israel.
I'm showing 44.9%, and you're showing more.
44.9% what?
Jews identify as secular, which means
Yeah,
that
identify, but then look at practicing. How many are practicing or traditional Orthodox Jews who would follow the Torah? How many?
Okay, well, fucking semantics. Where
No,
are we
that's
getting this from?
important because your criteria is they
So
need to
hold on,
follow this.
What's your criteria? Is it 51%? Is it 75? Is it 82?
I take the should
how do
not support. Do you understand? I don't need to
yes.
have criteria because it's not my
So
position, it's your position.
So you don't support any of them because some of them are secular.
No, I have a neutral stance. I don't think the United States should be entangling itself in the foreign affairs of Israel and
Well,
Palestine.
we're not talking about the United States. We're talking about Christians.
I don't think Christians should either. I think that having I already told you, I gave you 6 justifiable reasons, but this aside, it's not your time for cross-examination yet. I would like to finish my inquiry. Why is it, at what point of secularism would you stop supporting Israel, or would you?
I guess 100%.
It would have to be 100%, and then you would stop. So if there's one practicing Jew in Israel, then Christians ought to support the state of Israel. Is that correct?
Sure.
Yeah. So you're just not going to give legitimate answers. Did you move to trolling when you realized that you were getting blown out? Is that what the goal was?
No, you're
was
asking
the goal.
me
The goal was to move to trolling the second that you got blown out, bro. Was that really? Dude, would you like to switch to Andrew Tate? Would that make you feel better, bro? You want to switch to Andrew Tate? Would that make you feel better, or would we be more in your wheelhouse if we switched to Andrew Tate? So anyway, so back to this. If there's one practicing Jew in Israel, then all Christians ought to support the state of Israel, correct?
Christians should support the state of Israel, regardless of how many Jews are practicing, because we are commanded to by God.
Where?
In Genesis.
Where?
In Genesis 12, 1 through 3.
Genesis 12:3. So can I pull up my opening again? As I pointed out that you would use which argument for your biblical justification, sir? Would you like for me to read it again? Which argument did I say you would use for your biblical justification when it inevitably went to biblical justification?
You called the same argument that I used previously. You're a fucking genius.
Yes, brilliant.
Like fucking.
Yes, that's the thing about actually researching your opponents. Did I give you refutations to Genesis 12:3?
Does God make mistakes?
No, of course not.
Okay, so God said, "I will make of thee a great nation" to Abraham. Yes.
And he did.
So why do you think that God would fuck that up and it will not be a great nation?
What are you talking?
Generations. Because God said to Abraham, "I will make of thee a great nation, and in thee all the other nations of the world will be blessed." Yes, that is Israel.
Yeah.
He's referring to.
And who is
Israel?
Israel?
Today, dog?
We just talked about this before.
Oh, so Israel's a modern nation state. Can you show me that biblically, please?
No, we talked about this before.
So you can't show me that biblically.
Dog, you've been eating too much salmon, too much fucking steak, dude. It's got you clogged up, man.
Based on the Bible, I don't have it in front of me.
Do you think that when we switch over to Romans, do you mind pulling that up? Can you?
You gotta drink
Romans
at least 3 more cups.
I'm sorry, 9,
coffee,
6, 13, and just start reading, please.
Sure. Romans 9:6.
Get that coffee enema, dog.
6 through 13.
I hear it's all the jazz now, dog.
Looks like you're referring to Romans 9:6.
Yeah, dude. I don't think I've ever had an enema. What'd you say was the longest you ever went without shitting? Dude, how is that physically possible? Like, I believe you, but I'm just saying, like, how is that physically possible? Oh, dude, I don't fucking know, man. Fuck. So, like, what was the issue? Like, it was just too fucking big to shit? No, but I'm just saying, like, when you went to the bathroom, were you straining so much where you're like, "Yeah, dude, this is chalked. I can't fucking do it." Damn, dude. Yeah, that would be terrifying. Yeah, dude, that's terrifying, man. Yeah, dude, I remember when I fucking took like a big shit and I tore my ass. I was like, I was scared for the next time, dude. I was just like, dude, I don't want to fucking go through this shit again. Yeah. Yeah, man. You gotta eat more fiber, dog. Uh, well, get the one that makes it thinner. I don't know. I don't know which one that is though, but no. I'm guessing a lot of fruits, like apples and oranges. Yeah, I'd say fruits with like a lot of water. Um, yeah. I mean, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know, man. Spicy foods like that shit fucking burns, man. I don't know about you, but like I can't just shit right away. I have to like sit on the toilet for a while. Oh, you don't even sit. You fucking crouch. It's like I'm already touching cloth here, dog. Oh man. God damn. Oh, Over the bush, hand over the machine. Yeah. Oh. 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 Day. It's over. Uh.
That's no dream of mine.
Who'd you send it to? Oh.
Section deal. So,
Oh,
it
nice.
is not as though God's word had failed, for not all who are descended from Israel are Israel.
Wait,
Surely,
hang on. So
for not
it's
all.
not as though God's word had failed. You just
Very,
asked me a
very
question. Andrew, did
nice.
God's word fail? The answer is, well, no, God's word did not fail, didn't it? Did it? Because not all who claim they are of Israel are of Israel. Keep reading.
No. I agreed with you.
Yeah, no, keep reading.
Not all. Okay. Nor because they are his descendants are they all Abraham's children. On the contrary,
Wait,
it is.
read it again.
No, I'm not going to read it again. You fucking heard me.
I didn't hear you.
No, you did.
You're
Okay.
looking
In other-
down, bro. You're looking
Yo,
down.
tell
It's
me
hard to
this
hear you.
doesn't
I'm
look
reading.
Oh, okay.
fucking sick.
You're hearing me through a microphone.
Yeah, can you read it slowly?
My voice is not coming.
Can
right
you read
into
it? Can you
your
read
ears.
it? Can you read it
It's
slower?
coming through an electronic device that you can hear perfectly fine.
Yeah, can you read it
Hi,
slower? Go ahead.
So, in other words, it is not the
Yeah,
children
go ahead.
by
Keep reading.
physical descent who are God's children, but it is the children of the promise who are regarded as Abraham's offspring. This is exactly the argument
Who are
I'm
the
making.
children of the promise?
God's promise in Abraham.
Christians. Christians are the children of the promise, bro. Christians, bro. Debate over, bro. Holy shit! You just
That's-
bro, you just got fucked.
telling
You
me-
just got fucking wrecked. You just got.
are you done?
I'll wait for a
done?
refutation. Give me a single
you done?
refutation.
I can't listen. You're telling me the context. I don't know if that's the context.
Give me a counter context.
Your interpretation of the Bible. You can tell me it's what it is. I'm not going to just believe it is what it is because you said it.
Okay, well then what is
those are
it? Then what is it?
Those are Christians.
Then what is it?
Didn't we talk about this in my opening statement? If you're going
You don't
to try to
know?
trip me up with a
You don't know?
theological- no. And if I
Well,
don't
then
know,
why would you
I will
use that
verify
as your justification for why Christians ought to do it,
You're
dummy?
The one that told me to fucking
Can
look
you
this
tell
up,
me why
dummy.
Christians ought to use the Bible's justification when you yourself say you don't know the Bible? Do you even understand how stupid that is? Like, did you want to get up this morning and stamp "I'm a fucking retard" right to your forehead? Because that's what you did, bro.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
You
I'm
make it-
feeling pretty good.
you
I
look
would
very-
like to know how it is that you come up with these justifications. Each justification gets blown out. You say if there's even one person there who's Jewish, we ought to support it if they're a practicing Jew. And then you go on to claim it's because God couldn't make a mistake. Give you a passage where God said, I didn't make a mistake.
Picture
I
back.
will have the people of the promise. That was Christians. I demonstrated it to you. I'm waiting for a single
You just
refutation.
told me
Waiting
that's
for a
what it is.
single refutation.
Misfit, did you want to give a response?
No, I think
No.
we'll
Yeah,
move
dude,
on.
there's no
To
way I'm
what?
gonna be able to spell that shit.
So why ought? Okay, so let's use your secular arguments then. We can move on to those. What's your
When
secular?
is my cross reference? When is my cross?
Hold on,
When do
I
I get
just
to ask him
wanna-
questions?
Yeah, you can ask me questions soon.
at some
We'll
of
just
the
move
other
on to
stuff
your
they
secular
have on
arguments
here.
real quick. Can you just tell me what your secular arguments are, the non-biblical arguments, because you don't want to use the Bible now, for
Sick,
why it
dude.
is that Christians should support Israel?
Yeah, being a decent human being is probably the best one.
Being a decent human being. And
Yes,
how do we know?
The Jews have been persecuted. They've been basically genocided. By,
Hasn't all people groups have been
Nazis.
persecuted?
Yeah, the Jews got
Oh,
us
fucking
beat on
Amazon's
pretty much
being
every other
gay,
religion.
so
What
I
was it,
can't fucking look at it right
63%
now.
in World War II. So,
If
yeah,
you're the most,
they're the only fucking nation. You know, you guys talk about
just
the
wanna make
Palestinians.
sure-
The Palestinians' population has risen by like 2% every fucking
I'm
year.
just
Every
I'm
year.
granting what you're saying
But-
as being
but the-
true. I don't even care. It doesn't hurt my argument. I'll just grant it. The most persecuted people on the planet. Do you think that if you are the most persecuted people group on the planet, that immediately gives you a right to a thing?
No.
No.
not
Okay. Well,
necessarily.
then that argument has no merit. We'll move on to whatever your next argument is. Go ahead.
Okay, so the Jewish people being the indigenous people of that land is an argument that's something we can make, right?
Yeah,
I
but then
mean,
wouldn't we need to trace it by bloodline, which you said you don't want to do, right?
no, I'm saying you could trace it by their religion, and you could
You
go
know, by their
back.
bloodline, right? Like we don't know
Well,
if
I
they're
mean,
actually
are we
indigenous.
talking
All peoples
about,
are.
Are we talking about ethnicity? If you want to go back to ethnicity, then yes, right? Because you can trace their ancestral bloodline all the way back 1,200 years before Christ.
Oh, sure, but
So-
you have a mate. This is a matron-based religion or a matron-based idea for how you assess ethnicity in Judaism. You agree with that, right?
I believe yes. The mother,
So
yes.
then this would reduce to the one drop rule. If you have one drop of Jewish blood in you, then you would have rights to that land. Is that correct?
I guess you could say that.
Okay, so so then anybody on planet Earth who has one drop of Jewish blood, one drop, should be supported by Christians for that particular plot of land to be given to them.
Sure.
Why?
Why not?
Okay, well, I guess that's the end of that. You can ask me whatever questions you want now.
It's a legitimate question. Why not?
Well, because there's no justification. That's not
No, it's a
justification.
They have Jewish blood. Why not? Why?
Oh,
wouldn't they?
okay. Should you fuck your sister? Why not?
No.
Oh,
Why not?
Jesus.
No. I
Why
mean, you look
not?
like you're getting
Why not? Why shouldn't you fuck your sister? Why not?
You look like you're getting rattled. again.
Why not?
You've
bro?
gotten rattled a few times.
Why not?
I've been very calm. You've been. a little
Yeah,
bit-
yeah. Well, being calm didn't make you get less destroyed. Now, can you answer my question? Why not?
I love it when people debate and they're like, "I just destroyed you."
You
and they
got
just say it
wrecked
over and over.
real bad this time,
When
bro.
you
But
masturbate,
why
you
not?
look in the mirror. You look in
I'm
the mirror
I'm
when
just
you jerk
waiting for
off.
the why not,
Really?
bro. I'm trying to
Gentlemen, I can
demonstrate
ask-
to you
I
that why not's
can-
not an argument. Why not
can-
doesn't mean anything.
Look, man, I get it. You're emotional. It's okay. Look, here's the counter arguments that point against the replacement theology, right? And
We're not
this,
talking about replacement theology. We're asking about whether or not Christians should support Zionism. It has nothing to do with dispensationalism
so
or
it does have to do with
theology.
it does have to do with suppressionism, right? Because you're taking the Abrahamic covenant and you're replacing it with
It's
the
not being replaced.
well, that's what suppressionism
It's
is.
continuous. Yeah, we're not suppressionists. That's
Well,
not my
that's your opinion.
argument.
That's your opinion.
And I
Your
was
opinion
waiting
is-
for a counter argument for what I just gave you
I think
biblically in the
I think I've
text.
given you plenty of counter arguments. I think it's my turn.
Your counter argument
Um,
is that you just made it the fuck up. That was your
So the
counter argument.
Okay, sure. Emotional again.
Mhm.
Promise to Israel, right? Genesis 17, 7 through 8. An everlasting covenant with Abraham's descendants, including land. It didn't hint at an expiration date. Jeremiah 31, 35 through 37 ties Israel's permanence to the sun and the stars. Romans 11, ambiguity. Paul's hope for Israel's future salvation, 11, 26 through 27, undermines full replacement. If God's gifts are irrevocable, Israel's covenant may persist alongside the church. So we got these arguments, right, for why God.
You don't even understand those arguments.
Sure. I don't understand them. I'm reading my notes because this is how I prepared for the debate.
Yeah, you don't even. You said
Okay.
you didn't prepare for the
Well,
debate.
then refute them.
You literally said you didn't prepare for the debate.
Refute what I
So
just
where
said.
did you
Yeah,
get the?
I have a fucking.
Where did
job.
you get the notes if you didn't prepare for the
alright.
debate? You just
I have
read them
a
right now,
job.
right?
I have a job.
Let me
Yes,
ask you a question. Like, can you even answer this honestly? Didn't you actually just Google those arguments and then read them because that's what you did, right? That's
hold on,
actually what you just did, isn't it?
How else would you prepare for a debate?
Yeah, no,
You
right
don't
now.
look
You did it right this second.
Oh no! I had them already.
Yeah, you had them already.
I did prepare. You want to see the
Do
time?
we,
You said
do
you
we
didn't
wanna
prepare.
argue, gentlemen, do we want to argue over his debate preparation, or would we rather get back to the topic?
Yeah, go
Thank
ahead.
you. Thank you, Tomato. So would you be able to refute the argument in Genesis 17, 7 through 8, the everlasting covenant that has no expiration date?
Tell me what it means.
Okay, no, I asked you a question.
Yeah, I'm asking you to clarify so that I understand what it means so I can answer your question.
Well, I'm pretty sure you understand the question. So you don't want to answer questions when I ask them. You just want me to answer.
I just asked you to
when you
clarify so that I understand what you mean by the words that you
Do
say.
you
Do you remember how at the beginning of the debate I asked you
hold
a
on,
ton of clarifying questions to make
Yeah,
sure I steel manned your position? I didn't straw man it. I was totally
you
good
don't know-
faith.
You don't know the Bible? I thought you knew the Bible. You don't know what Genesis 17, 7 through 8 is?
I'm
You can Google
asking
it.
you what you think that means, dude,
No, I'm
so I can
asking
ask
you
your
to-
question.
I'm asking you to refute the point in.
You can't ask me to make a refutation against something that I don't understand what you're asking me.
So you just don't want to answer the question. So I'm asking you: does the everlasting covenant have an expiration date?
Yeah,
That is the
no,
question.
listen, the way the covenants work is it's continuous. There is not a secondary last. I just gave you the passages in Romans so that you can understand how this works. Not all people of Israel are going to be Israel. Not all people of this line are going to be the people of the line. Rather, the children of the promise of that covenant, which would be us, Christians. We're the children of that promise.
Okay.
There's my refutation, bro. Anything else, bro?
So your argument
Anything else,
is-
bro?
Your argument is that God didn't promise the Jews; He promised the Christians, right? And that's refuted by pretty much everybody. He promised the Jews, right?
He promised the Jews.
Christians didn't exist yet.
Uh-huh.
Okay, He promised the Jews.
Is Jesus God?
Yes. under the
Okay,
whole
so then
Trinity.
Jesus was making that promise, right?
Jesus with the with the new covenant?
No, Jesus was making that promise. He is God, right?
Well, He's God in human form.
No,
so
he's also God. Don't fall for this. You're not going to get in you be careful. You're about to get in heretical territory. Is Jesus
Sure.
God
Yeah,
or
everybody's
not
saying
God?
Jesus is God.
Okay, so
yeah,
then
yeah,
Jesus was making that promise, right?
Sure.
Okay, so if Jesus is making the promise,
So,
and then Paul tells you who the promised people are, is who?
Again,
It's
you're-
who? Who is it?
again, that's your contextualization.
Who is it, bro?
Look, boy.
And then Paul tells you who the promised people are, is who?
Again,
It's who? Who is it?
Again, that's your contextualization.
Who is it, bro?
not mine. Was Jesus a Jew?
Yeah.
Jesus was a Jew.
Yeah.
Okay. And Christians are followers of a Jew. So we pray to a Jew, we follow a Jew,
Uh-huh.
we emulate a Jew,
Uh-huh.
but we're somehow different.
Oh, okay. So then Jews go to heaven?
Well, it's up to I guess there's different variations of Jew. Some of them believe they go to a place like heaven.
No. I'm asking you. Did Jews go to heaven?
I'm not an expert.
Well,
in
you're a
Judaism.
Christian, right? What is the way? Well, hang on. Who is the way, the truth, the light? Who is it that you worship, and why do you worship him? You worship Jesus Christ, and absent Jesus Christ, there can be no salvation, right?
Yeah, they go through him.
Okay, got it. And do Jews worship Jesus Christ?
Some of them, Messianic Jews.
Well, okay, wait a second. Wait a second. Messianic Jews are Christians.
Well, pretty much, but they practice Judaism.
What?
They have some of the traditions of Judaism. In
the Judaism traditions that the Messiah hasn't come yet. So if you're Messianic, you say the Messiah has come as Jesus Christ, then then you're a people group who follows Jesus Christ. So here's my question to you. If it is the case that Jesus Christ is the only pathway to salvation, wouldn't you have to say all practicing Torah Jews who are in Israel going to hell?
No, because even though they don't believe in Jesus,
they have magic blood, right? Give me the magic blood. We're going to do magic blood.
And I don't know which passage of the Bible this is. I'm going off of memory, but if you can maybe help me out, doesn't the Bible also say that the Jews will eventually come and accept Jesus?
Yeah.
So it does, right? So
in the end times. Yeah. Yeah.
So just because they don't accept Jesus doesn't mean Jesus doesn't accept them.
Every knee will bow, dude. Every knee will accept Christ eventually, not just Jews. So the thing is like, again, I just got to ask you, right now, you're a practicing Torah Jew in Israel, and you have a heart attack, and you die, and it's sudden. Do you go to heaven?
My interpretation is you would go to Jesus and he would decide whether or not, because he go through Jesus. The only way into the promised land is through me. It doesn't mean you
when you die, when you're Jewish, you get a special meeting with Jesus, and then he says, actually, hey guys, guys, actually I'm real, guys. Did you know that? And they're like, darn, we got it wrong. And then they what?
Is that what I said?
Well, okay, well then you explain it to me.
Okay, so Jesus says the only way to the promised land is through me.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
When a Jew dies, I don't know this for a fact. I'm obviously speculating.
Okay.
But based off of that, would it be a crazy assumption to think that when they die and Jesus presents himself, they would be like, oh shit, I was wrong? And if they then are accepted by Jesus Christ, then yeah, I think they would go to heaven. That's just my
would that only apply to Jews or to everybody?
Everybody. It applies to
everybody. So then what's the point of even being a Christian if it's just going to be revealed to you when it's all done, and Jesus goes, hey, by the way, I'm real. And they're like, oh shit, well, that sucks. I was wrong. What would be the point of even being a Christian, dude?
I'm not sure. I don't understand the question.
You're not sure?
I don't understand the question. What's the point of being a Christian?
Faith in Jesus Christ. Faith in Jesus Christ, right, is what determines salvation. You agree with that, right?
Well, that's what's written, yeah.
Okay, so if that's the case and you die and had no faith in Jesus Christ, all you're saying is that Jesus Christ would then reveal himself to you, which would take away the faith aspect. Now you would have knowledge.
You're talking about the new covenant, okay? There are different religions that believe different things, all right? It's not my place to tell those people what they will experience when they die, all right? You think that everybody has to be a Christian in order to go to heaven. I agree, right? If you are a Christian, you have to have faith in Jesus Christ, accept him as your Lord and Savior in order to go to heaven. I believe that. But if God really is the God of every man, woman, and child, do you think that he doesn't have a plan for the people that don't believe in him? Do you think every single person, even if they live a good life and like they just go straight to hell, burn in hell for eternity, the devil's fucking shoving a pitchfork up your ass? I don't believe that. So, I mean, call me a bad Christian, but I just don't believe it.
Okay, so when you are brought the word and you reject the word over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you die, then in your worldview, there's a big reveal?
They don't reject the word. They reject the New Testament.
So the word. The gospel means what? What does the gospel mean?
Us. Hey, what if we're wrong? What if Jews have it right?
Then why aren't you a Jew?
I mean, I'm not saying that I believe that. I'm saying, what if?
Yeah, I
Right?
mean, what if would be a logical impossibility from the purview of a Christian, right?
Well, you asked me to fucking make a hypothetical earlier about
Yeah,
fucking
but there was a lot.
Palestinian
It was a
Christians.
logically possible and probable hypothetical, even.
This is a
So,
lot. This is possible.
okay. So
Anything is
hang on,
possible.
hang on. So if that's the case, anything is possible or contradictions possible?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
People make contradictions all the time.
Yeah. So an existing contradiction's possible. Like you cannot be you at the same time you're you. That's possible.
I'm the dude playing the dude disguised as another dude.
Hmm. You can be the thing which
Can we
you're
go?
not.
Can we go over a couple more things because this is getting boring?
Yeah, that's
Jesus
nice.
never-
I'm not quite ready to let you kind of off the hook just
Yeah,
yet.
I don't give.
I'd like to know. I'd like to know.
Again, you asked a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah, I'd like to know. I'd like to know real quick. Yeah, I would just like to know real
Allow me
quick.
for just a moment, just to confirm, Misfit, you do have the affirmative side, which means Andrew can come in and try to kind of like tear down your argument since you're in the affirmative position.
Sure.
I mean, certainly that doesn't mean you can't ask questions, but it is his job to poke holes in your argument.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'm
continue.
also willing to allow the cross examination like I did and gave you the refutations with Romans like I did. But also, so I just want to make sure that I get this right. If you actually believe then that if you're on Earth and you're Jewish and you die of a heart attack, that you're going to meet Jesus and he's going to just reveal that he's Jesus. I don't actually understand the principle of Christianity at all and the idea of faith in Christ for salvation on earth, because you would just be given the choice when you die after it's been revealed to you beyond all shadow of a doubt that it's true. What would the point of faith even be? That makes no sense, dude.
Yeah, I understand. I was referring more to the Olam Hazeh thing that I read up, and I am Googling it right now, but just hear me out, okay? Judaism historically focuses on this world over the world to come. But the afterlife belief exists, right? The world to come, literally the Garden of Eden. That's in some of the Talmudic texts. Many traditional Jews, based on Daniel 12:2, expect a bodily resurrection. They believe different than we do.
I'm
Is
asking you
my
about
point.
Christians.
But
Right,
I already
Christians
told you,
believe.
I believe what you believe. All right.
So
I
you believe that when a Jew has a heart attack and dies, if he
No, I don't
rejected
believe
he rejected Christ, he doesn't go to heaven, right?
See, I don't. You keep the gaslighting thing with the rejection of Christ. They don't believe that Christ is the Messiah.
So they
don't
reject him. That's
No,
a
they don't
rejection.
they reject him as the Messiah.
Yes.
They don't reject him.
Do they believe that Jesus Christ is God?
No, but
Then that's a
you're using
rejection
it
of
as
Christ. That's
you're
that
using
simple.
it as- No, you're using
Yes.
it as you're using it as a negative connotation.
It is a negative. It's a rejection. I don't like. Listen. Okay. Let me get this right.
You need to stop getting.
If
so
there
loud. You
is
are going to
a
have a
if
heart
there
attack.
is a trans person, right?
Sure.
Do you accept that they're the gender that they say they are? Do you accept that?
No,
So you reject it.
correct.
Okay. And what is the criteria for you to reject a thing? You don't believe it, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, then, do Jews believe that Jesus is God?
They don't believe he's God, but they
Then
believe
they
in
reject him. You see how that
But they
works?
believe-
Basic
they believe
logic. I
in-
just dog walked you through it, bro. Very simple.
Yeah, but they believe in Jesus.
They
right?
believe what about Jesus?
They believe he was a real person.
So what?
Okay, so they don't reject him.
Atheists believe that Jesus was a real person, so they don't reject him?
Sure, they do. They're no,
What?
here. Look, we're talking about two different things. Okay, you're saying it in a negative connotation.
Well, it's because but what is reject?
I've never look. I didn't watch any of your debates. I didn't realize how much of a fucking cartoon character you are, and how much you self-fucking masturbate on these debates. You literally just,
Cope.
anytime
Yes. Give me the cope. Yes. Give me the
Anytime you
cope.
make a
Yes. Yes.
anytime you make a point,
Finish it up, boys.
anytime you make a point, you have this out-of-body experience where you literally you have a fucking.
I mean, I've
meltdown.
heard some stupid shit
You're like,
before,
"Oh my
but
God, look at how awesome I am." Dude,
Boy.
do you have a real job? Like, do you have a job, like, do you have a 9 to 5?
Yeah, you know, I'm like you. I saw some of your like garbage carpentry. I was a robotics mechanic, right?
Bro,
All right, gentlemen.
the
All right.
fact that you said that proves that you didn't look at my work. But I'm asking, do you have a real job, or do you just smoke and talk to fucking hookers online all day?
Well,
Do
I
we
mean, right
want
now I'm
to-
smoking and talking to someone way less smart than the hookers I talk to.
Oh
I'm
boy.
serious. I would love to know.
All
I
right,
would know,
gentlemen.
because
Do
it's
we
a
want to?
behavior.
We can ad hom and throw mud at each other, or we can get back to the
It's
topic.
just
It's up to
hilarious.
you.
He's a fucking
It's up to
cartoon
you.
character.
I don't know. You're the one who seems to be seething pretty hard right now, bro.
I'm not, man.
You seem
I'm
very
fucking
upset.
perfectly calm. You just had a fucking another meltdown for the 15th
You mean I
time.
laughed at your stupidity when you said that
laughed
it's
at
not a
nothing.
rejection when you reject that Jesus
did.
Christ is God?
You did what children do.
Hmm.
All right.
What is what do you think? What do you think
scored a goal.
blasphemy of the Holy Spirit is? It's rejecting the divinity of Christ, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't Jews reject the divinity of Christ?
Yes. they
And what's
reject-
the one
they reject him
unforgivable
as the
sin? What's
Messiah.
the one unforgivable sin? Blasphemy against the Holy Spirit, bro. Come on.
Are you about to do another thing where you
Come on. Like, how fucking hard is this? All right, yeah, I'm ready for your cross-examination, dude. Whenever.
There we go. Okay, hold on one second.
In fact, like literally whatever you want to talk about, I'm happy to talk about. Whatever it is. I don't even care.
How far in are we?
You're an hour in.
Okay, good.
You're doing fine.
No, I'm not trying to run away from the bait. I told you earlier tonight I am fucking tired, but I will continue, not tapping out, just checking. Okay. So shit, I fucking lost it. It doesn't even matter. The Zionism argument, right? Let's go back to the modern Zionism, right? Theodore Herzl's reasoning and rationale for wanting the Jewish people, right? Now, I assume that you'll agree that that meant ethnically and religiously, the Jewish people to have a safe space, essentially, a place where they were no longer being slaughtered and persecuted. And he came to this conclusion after seeing he was against Zionism, and he came to a rationale that there was no way that these people wouldn't be hated forever. And I think that you would also agree that they have been hated and persecuted. You've already said that you agree with me on that. They're the most persecuted people. So Christians, being loving, tolerant people, right, I believe should support that modern Zionism theory, right? Of, hey, just as a good Christian, I don't want to see a fellow group of people being slaughtered, persecuted, and what have you. So would you agree that at least that theory is something that Christians should accept or support?
Yeah, so I addressed this in argument too. I'll address it again. Christians should support Zionism because Jewish people deserve a homeland. That's the argument that you're currently making. I addressed it in my opening statement. While it's not a fallacious argument, you would then need to apply this to every other group which exists in order to be consistent, which would include Palestinians. So let's say for a second that you're right, and I grant it. I'll explain. I'll explain.
No. Let me just follow. Why would you have to?
Because otherwise you wouldn't be consistent. I'll explain. I'll explain why, so that you understand. So right now, do you consider that Israel is a powerful nation in the Middle East?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And do you consider that Palestinians are not?
No, I don't agree with that. I think they're very powerful.
Are more powerful than Israel?
I mean, with their backing, then potentially, yeah. They are backed by
the nation
Iran.
itself.
It's not a nation.
Okay, if it was. Well, if it's not a nation, then it can't be more powerful than the nation of Israel,
Yeah,
right?
it's a region in
Okay.
Israel.
Sure, I'll just grant it. I'll grant it, right? So Palestine's not even a nation, right?
Mhm.
I'll just grant all of this. So then in this case, right, if they're a persecuted people group, don't they also deserve to have a homeland? Doesn't every people group, in other words, who's ever been persecuted, deserve a homeland?
No. I agree with that.
Do whites deserve a
Palestinians-
homeland?
Huh?
Do white people deserve a homeland?
White's a race, not an ethnicity.
What do you think an ethnicity is?
An ethnicity is an ethnic background. There are only 4 races. There's white, black, Caucasoid, Negroid, Mongoloid, and Australoid. Those are your 4 main
Well, that's
races.
wrong. That's old taxonomy. That's old taxonomy, just so you know. You're making a taxonomical classification, just so you understand real quick, just so you know. Even if it were the case, hang on, I'll just grant you that it's just an ethnicity, not even. But why would you apply it to ethnicity and not race? Why couldn't we apply it to race?
We could.
Well, then what's the problem?
Apply it to those 4 races.
So just to be consistent, why can't?
I believe that every single race and ethnicity deserves to live in peace and deserves to have a homeland. So yeah, we'll agree on that.
So
But the
then every single race and people group and
Christians
ethnicity.
Christians should always support peace and being against anybody being persecuted. That's my argument. My argument is, as a Christian,
Mhm.
you should always support that. Yes, the Palestinian people, the peaceful Palestinian people, not the terrorists, right? Because you
Should
need
be
to make
supported.
yes, 100%.
Okay, so then the idea for Christian neutrality is actually the best one, right? Because regardless of who's being persecuted where, we should be neutral in the conflict. That way we can aid whoever is being persecuted, right?
Sure. Yeah, I actually do agree. We should aid the people that are being persecuted.
Well, then
Now, we're
that's
going to-
not making an ought claim for why Christians should support Zionism. It's just
Yeah,
making
they
an ought
should.
claim that Christians should
Well, the
support all people groups
well, the-
everywhere
the
for having a
Zion- well,
homeland.
The Zionists are currently the ones being persecuted. They're being persecuted
Mhm.
by being surrounded on all sides by Islamic terrorists that are trying
Mm.
to kill them. They're trying to exterminate them.
Well, let's
So
move. Let's hang on. Let's
So we
move
have- hold on,
into.
no.
Okay,
we
go
have
ahead.
to do it. We have to do it. We have to do what like the medical term triage, right?
Mhm.
Who is currently being slaughtered? Now, this applies to the Uyghurs. This applies to the Arabs in the Sudan. Anyone being persecuted, the Christians should always support them, right? As a good Christian, you should always want to help people who are being hurt by other people. I believe that that's full stop, and that applies to every single human being on the planet, right? If you are a persecuted person, a Christian should stand by your side and saying, I will be there with you. So that's my argument. And right now, the Jews, the Zionists, the Israelis are the ones that are being persecuted by a radical Islamic terrorist nation that is trying to wipe them off the face of the fucking earth.
Okay. So just so I understand, Christians should support all persecuted people groups, right?
Correct.
In this case, you think that Jews are a persecuted people group, and so therefore Christians ought to support them.
Correct.
However, if Jews become not a persecuted people group, then Christians don't need to support them, right?
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't need to
Then the
prioritize.
ought is not the support of.
need to-
Then
they
the
wouldn't need
ought
to
is not.
prioritize.
Hang on. The ought is not then for Zionism. The ought is just any persecuted group. Christians.
want them
Hang
to-
on. Stop. I'll prove it. I'm going to demonstrate it so that you understand. It's just logic, bro. I'm just helping you out with some
Mhm.
logic here. If it is the case that you think all persecuted people groups should be supported by Christians, all, doesn't matter who it is, then
Correct.
if the nation of Israel and the people in it are no longer a persecuted people group, there's no actual reason you can give for Christians to support them anymore. Do you understand?
Well, they would have to remain in peace, but you can let me know when that happens.
Okay, but if they were in a peaceful nation, right? They're not being attacked, this and that. Why should we support them then?
I mean, yeah. What's your definition of support?
Well, I mean,
Military aid.
any
or,
support.
Like, I mean, yeah. I mean, yes, we would. If they were not a persecuted people, they were a
Mhm.
self-sustaining, peaceful nation. Then, of course, yes, we wouldn't need to necessarily. support. But
then there's
I
no
mean, I'm
ought
just-
for
I'm just-
Christians to support Zionism.
How do you mean?
I'll explain.
You're
So your
saying-
definition of Zion.
you're again using
Yeah.
a hypothetical that is not based in reality.
It's
The
your
Jews-
hypothetical.
But the Jews.
It's
are
your
being
hypothetical. Why would you get mad at it? You made up that hypothetical, not
No,
me.
no, what you do is you say if, and then you go, okay, if this happens and it's not going to, then we don't need to do it. Yeah, if this happens, something doesn't need to happen. But that thing that you're saying, if it happens, won't fucking happen. Because every fucking person knows that the Jews are going to be persecuted till the end of fucking time for some strange fucking reason, because ignorant fucking people like you keep on trying to fucking gaslight the entire world into thinking that they're not a victim. They are a victim.
I'm
always
sorry.
been
Can
a
you
victim.
just point out when I made any claim like that ever?
No, but you're insinuating it.
Did
with your
I?
fucking rhetoric.
Can you show me when I insinuated anything like that ever?
Well, let's rewind later. How about we
So
move
you
on?
just made it all up again?
Yes, I made it all up.
Yeah, you made up that all that rhetoric that you just spewed was completely made up. I didn't make any claims. In fact, it granted all of these as
said-
arguments
you
that
said
you're making.
Your argument is Christians shouldn't support Zionism. Okay.
Yeah, Zionism. Yeah.
Your argument is Christians.
What is it? That has nothing to do with Judaism. That has nothing to do with persecuting anybody.
95% of Zionists are Jews.
So what?
It's okay. So you're saying I don't support 95% of Jews.
No, I'm saying I don't support a thing. Well, here's the thing. I don't support 100% of Jewish belief in Judaism. I support because I'm a Christian. Don't you? Aren't you opposed to 100% of Jews when it comes to Christianity, sir?
No, because they're
No,
in the Old Testament. We
no.
are Judeo-Christian. We share
What?
the
Wait,
same values.
what does Judeo-Christian mean? What does that mean?
It literally just means Old and New Testament. You apparently want to fixate on the New Testament.
Wait a second. I'm sorry. Do you think that Judeo-Christian just means that because there is an Old Testament, Christians also acknowledge the Old Testament, they follow the prescriptions in the Old Testament, and the covens they have a continuity, that this means that we're Jewish?
No.
Then
I
we're
said
just Christians.
Judeo-Christian is a shared value system where Jews practice the Old Testament.
We can't have a shared value system. It's impossible.
Why can't
because we follow Christ as our Messiah and his teachings.
Yeah, but we also adhere to the Old Testament with the Abrahamic
What
covenant.
teachings do you adhere to in the Old Testament, sir? Give me one.
With the Abrahamic covenant, the MOC, what is it? What's it called? The MOC. I am exhausted. The covenant with Moses. All the promises God made to the Jews. We have to acknowledge those. We can't just.
So help me.
replace
I'm
them.
sorry. You said we have a shared ethical value structure. We do not have a shared ethical value structure.
The Jews practice the
You
Ten
follow Christian ethics.
The Jews practice the 10 Commandments. We practice.
Do
the
you,
10
they
Commandments.
practice them different ways? Do you understand that? Do you understand?
Shared.
Yeah. Okay. So then, let me get this right. You have shared ethical foundations with atheists because atheists follow the Ten Commandments.
Do you have a problem with the term Greco-Roman? Like, why does everybody lose their shit when you put Judeo-Christian?
It's not the idea of Judeo-Christian being there. It's the idea that you say the reason it's there is because we share ethical value structures. That can't be the case. It can't be the case.
We do.
I'll explain why it can't be the case. Is Jesus Christ God and Lord?
Yes.
Okay, and do they reject that that's true?
They reject that he's the Messiah.
Then they're rejecting the nature of God. If they reject the nature of God, then how can they know what's good? How can you know what's good if you reject the nature of God?
They believe in God the Father.
What do you believe?
I believe in Jesus.
Okay, great. So then your ethical purview has a nature. Your God has a nature. Stop, bro. My turn, bro. Calm down, bro. Your God has a nature. If your God's nature is different than somebody else's God's nature, then the ethical foundations in which that God lays are going to be different. Do you understand? Like that has to be the case. So, for instance, you don't follow eye for an eye, do you? You follow turn the other cheek. You follow a universal axiom of love thy neighbors, you would love yourself. These are not that's not part of Levitical law. That's the teachings and the laid down teachings within Christian ethics of Jesus Christ. Those are not shared ethical values, and they can contradict each other. For instance, turn the other cheek directly contradicts eye for an eye. So these are not shared values. That's an impossibility.
There are things in the Bible that contradict each other because the Bible is open to interpretation.
No, it's not contradict. Listen, those values contradict each other.
Yes,
the Bible itself is not contradictory.
But you're talking about teachings in the Bible which are interpreted different ways.
That's because one stops at the Old Testament and the other one does not. And so the thing is we have a continuity. Christianity has a continuity between the Old Testament and the New Testament. But we understand what the teachings and laid down teachings of Jesus Christ are and the contradictory nature of them to practicing Jews or Muslims or any other religion.
Sure.
So then it's not a shared ethical value.
I mean, it's a all right. I don't know how much easier I can explain this. Okay. If we Christians follow the Old Testament, we don't ignore the Old Testament, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So we follow the Old Testament. They follow the Old Testament. That means we share the Old Testament with them. And then we also follow the New Testament.
That's actually can't be true either. I'll show you why. In the Old Testament, when you're reading it, right? And you say the word God, are you referencing Jesus Christ as part of that?
Well,
no. Yes. The answer is yes. And are Jews referencing Jesus Christ as part of that?
No.
Okay. So then the thing is, bro, if that's the case, then all of those ethical values that are laid down, all those ethical values laid down are laid down by Jesus Christ. All of them. So when you say they're shared, okay, you're making this distinction, which makes no sense because They don't follow all of the teachings of Jesus Christ.
They don't follow all of them. No, the God the Father is Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ is God the Father. So they are, whether they believe it or not, praying to Jesus Christ. Like
Yes.
they don't
So
believe
our
it,
ethics
they
are correct. Their ethics are not correct.
Yeah, in our
So they can't.
opinion,
They're not shared, dude.
in our belief system, the Jews, according to us, unknowingly are praying to Jesus Christ. Okay, because he is God the Father. It's the Holy Trinity. That's what we believe. So if they are praying to the same God as us, it is still a shared value system.
No,
Because
it can't. No,
praying to
they're
the
not
same God,
praying
they
to.
just don't know it.
They're not praying to the same God as us.
They don't think they are,
It
but
can't.
they are.
Well, okay, then they're not. Then they're not.
They are.
So you think that you can accidentally pray to Jesus Christ?
Well, if Jesus Christ is God and they are praying to God, then yes,
They're
they are
praying to a different God.
No, they're praying to Jesus Christ. They
How
don't
could
know
it be the same God if it has no triune nature, dude?
No, they don't believe it, but
Then they're not praying to the same God.
They don't believe they are, but they are.
So if I came to you and I said, there's a demon that I pray to who has all of the same values as whatever the Jews believed their God had, the nature of whatever Jews said their nature of their God was. I said this is a demon that I pray to, right?
They're not praying to a demon.
That's not what I asked you. I'm not asking you if they're
you're doing
praying to a
another
demon.
hypothetical.
I'm just saying if that was the case, wouldn't you be able to determine that it was demonic or not based on the fact that if I rejected Jesus Christ, that would be what would make it demonic, right?
It's a false equivalency. They're not praying to a demon. They're praying to God.
Oh, and Jesus Christ is God?
Correct.
And they're not praying to Jesus Christ?
They are.
They are.
They don't know they are, but if Jesus Christ is God and they are praying to him,
Uh-huh.
they are praying to Jesus Christ. I don't know how many fucking times I can say it. Right? They don't know it, but they're doing it because we believe in the new covenant. They don't. Okay. So if Jesus Christ is God, you got God who is Jesus Christ. He stays God and he stays Jesus Christ the whole time, all the way up through the entire Old Testament. Now, just because they reject the New Testament, if they are praying to the God of the Old Testament, they are still praying to Jesus Christ.
So shouldn't it actually be Christian Judeo values then?
Sure, if you really want.
Because wouldn't it be actually that the Jews get their values from Christianity because Christianity was there in the very beginning because Jesus Christ is God?
Well, that's the whole argument about omnipotence, right? He exists outside of time, knows everything, sees all. So this is why he forgave.
So they took some value. So essentially, so from your view, then Jews took some values from Christianity.
Yes, God knew.
But we don't share values with them. They took some values from us.
God knew Jews were going to reject him, as you say, right? And he forgave them anyway. He blessed them anyway. He made the covenant with them anyway. He made promises of land anyway. If he understood all that and did it anyway, why are we, or not we, you rejecting what he fucking did?
Here, I'll help you really quickly with a single question. It'll completely refute everything you just said. Do Muslims pray to the same God?
The Muslims do not pray to the same God. They worship Allah based on Muhammad.
Well, Allah just means the word. That just means God, right?
Based on Muhammad's teachings. Muhammad was a pedophile. Their Quran is not the same book, so it's not the same God. If it was the same book, then yes, it would be the same God. It's a different book. It's called the Quran.
And in this book, the Quran, do they reject Jesus?
No, but it doesn't matter because it's a fucking demon.
Do they reject Jesus as God?
Doesn't matter. It's not.
Can you answer my question, please?
The Bible.
Do they reject Jesus as God?
Wait. They think that he's a prophet.
Yeah, they reject him as God, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Okay, great. And isn't that the way that we can make sure that their religion is false and not true?
Their religion is false because it's not the Bible.
Yeah, but if they're praying to the same God that the Jews are praying to, which they claim they are.
Now, they're just calling it God.
Oh, I think the Jews are just calling it God.
No, because the Jews are praying to the same book as us. We can keep doing this dance.
Yeah, but so are Muslims then by that logic. They're praying to the same God as the Jews. So that's what they say.
It's not the same book. You're talking about a different book.
But it says in the Quran.
You're talking about
bro, listen, I'm telling you. It says in the Quran to follow the Old Testament. It says that there's nothing in the Old Testament that's false. Nothing.
But the Quran is not the Old Testament.
Oh, I agree. The New Testament is not the Old Testament.
The Quran is not.
And neither's the New Testament.
Yes, but the New Testament is a continuation of the Old Testament.
Oh, no. Well, yes, there's a continuity, but you reject the continuity. You say there's two covens.
Well, no, there is 2 covenants because you can't break a fucking covenant.
No, there's a continuity in covenants. It's all the same covenant.
So you have the Abrahamic covenant, right? And then you have a new and everlasting covenant. New does not mean that it's the same, it means new. So a new and everlasting covenant is basically saying, hey, I got another one for you. It's not, hey, this is replacing that one, or it's the continuation of that one.
You want to back that up with
new.
biblical fact?
No, but I'm sure.
No, no, of course you won't.
I told you at the beginning of this, I am not a biblical scholar.
Then why are you making biblical arguments? It makes no sense.
You fucking invited me. This is the same dumb argument.
I didn't invite you. I didn't even set the debate up.
You're the one that told me let's debate. And
yeah, and then I forgot. I completely forgot about it by the next fucking day. What do you mean?
Hit me up and said Andrew wants to debate you, and I said sure. This is the same thing I did last time.
Let me correct the narrative here. I did see the Twitter feed or X feed, whatever, and I reached out to Andrew and I asked if he wanted to do this, and I reached out to you.
I apologize. I
so
thought
this is me. It's I like to go digging through the
Rachel.
X arguments. Yes, it is my fault. Blame the woman. I will take it. It's okay.
Look, Andrew, I want to say something because I'm not running from the debate. I am extremely tired. I'm dealing with a lot. I don't know if you follow, but my mom's sick and everything. It's been a nightmare.
You're running, bro. You're running.
Sure. I'm extremely tired. I am going to bounce, but I'll give you another. Is 10, 15 minutes okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we agree to call it in 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, because I mean, because you're running. But yeah, sure. So
I have a big
I told you you're trapped in here with me, bro. I'm not trapped in here with you. So
I thought that you wanted this debate. I just found out Ragin is the one that fucking catfished both of us. So that's.
I don't feel catfished. I'm happy. I'm happy to be here testing this insane logic. I just
you don't have to get up for work in the morning. I do.
So back to this. Oh well, I mean, what do you think that that just because I'm a successful streamer now at this point in my life, it didn't work for most of my life, including why I built my streaming career? Because it did.
I think that you built it off the backs of a bunch of fucking whores, but go ahead.
What have you built yours on the back of? Nothing. So anyway, thing is like, again, you're in here with me. So I just got to ask, I just want to make sure I got this right. If the nature of the God that the Jews worship is not the same nature as the God that you worship, but you still think you're praying to the same God.
Okay. We're going to do this one more time, right? The Old Testament is our book, correct? It's their book as well. A Quran is not the Old Testament. So if the Jews are following the Old Testament in the same text and the same teachings that we are, they are praying to the same God as us. We believe that God is Jesus based on the Holy Trinity.
So it's a different God.
No.
It has to be. It has a different nature.
Again, same God. They don't realize, because they don't follow the teachings of the New Testament, that what they are in fact doing is they are praying to Jesus, which is why he forgave them. He's omnipotent. He knew all of this was going to happen. He forgave them anyway. And he says in the Bible, they will come around eventually. And like you said, in the end of days. But
so are Mormons Christians then?
I don't fucking even know anything about Mormons.
What about Jehovah's Witnesses? Are Jehovah's Witnesses Christian? Well, Mormons, I'll just give you the Reader's Digest version. Mormons believe that a prophet named Joseph Smith found golden plates in the ground. Based off of the reading of the golden plates, he added a few addendums to the New Testament.
No, I don't think so.
But I don't understand. They worship Jesus, though.
But do they read the Old Testament and the New?
Yes.
They read the Old Testament and the New?
Yes.
But they added something on top of it.
Yes.
Well, I mean, they think they are.
Yeah, but they worship Jesus, so you have to say that they're Christians, right? They worship that God, right?
Sure. Then I'm no, they're not Christians. They're Mormons, right?
Well, what makes Mormons not Christian?
Well, that's true. If they worship Christ and they are Christ followers, then I guess they can call themselves Christians. I don't know. You're literally telling me what Mormons are for the first time. That's how little I give a fuck about Mormons. Are Protestants Christians?
What about a cult? What about cults which believe in all sorts of bizarre shit based on their interpretation of the New Testament and the Old Testament, but they still follow both books? They just pray, and when they pray to God, they believe that God is like the Gnostic form. You're a part of God. You are God in a sense.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
No,
I don't. You're telling me for the first time. Can you repeat that? What was it?
So Gnostics believe that we're all inside the dream of God, and they're part of God. They believe everything in the Old Testament's true and the New Testament. They definitely, when they pray, think that Jesus is part of God, just like you.
Well, then I guess I mean, just based off of that definition, I guess Christians are Protestants Christians.
Well, I would put the criteria of people who
Shut
believe
up.
in the Nicene Creed are that's the baseline that I would accept for Christianity.
Can you explain that?
You don't know what the Nicene Creed is?
Nope, I do not.
Yeah,
We
I don't even need to go
believe
much
in
further there.
one.
So you don't want to do the same thing that you asked of me earlier.
Yeah, I
which
mean, I
was
can if you want to get into the so the Nicene
What page you
Creed
at?
was founded at an ecumenical council for basically just this in order to have Christians repeat the creed so that Christians could recognize other Christians who didn't believe in heresies and all sorts of things like this. In modernity, you'll find that at least a good portion of Protestants do at least repeat some form of that creed, and all Orthodox do, Catholics do as well. You should know you're Catholic, or at least you said you were. The
Yeah,
Nicene Creed is a real big deal in Catholicism,
sure.
even though you didn't know what it was 5 seconds ago.
No. I clarified this in the last debate. I'm a Catholic because I was baptized Catholic. That's what I'm supposed to call
Oh,
myself.
dude.
According to the Catholic Church, I'm a Catholic for life.
Yeah.
Right. So that's basically that's the only reason why I say it. I do not follow the church anymore. Right. I believe that the current modern church is a man-made institution. I don't agree with a lot of what they do. I don't agree with the politics that they get involved in. I don't agree with covering up pedophilia. I don't agree with a lot of things that are going on.
Well, I mean, that's not really just
I
to
understand.
help you out with some refutations to that. The public school system struggles with far more in the way of PDF files than anything the Catholic
Sure,
Church ever
sure,
thought.
yeah, but just
And do you know why? It's because predators go where there's kids. It doesn't matter
Sure.
where.
I understand completely,
Doesn't
but
matter where.
what I'm saying is
Man, what
the
the
actual
fuck?
institution that covered it up, even
Mhm.
though whataboutism? Oh, it happens over here. I can't support that.
So I just want to be good faith and finish answering your question for you, right? So
Sure.
I would at least have to take that as a baseline for even discussing theology with a person that we at least start with the Nicene Creed. Now,
Okay.
I don't think that people outside of the Orthodox Church are true Christians at all.
That's what
But
I was.
I'm at least willing to start with the baseline of the Nicene Creed to get into theology and things like this so that I could perhaps make convincing arguments to people or assist them with coming over to orthodoxy. So,
Sure.
yeah, so just to be very clear, yes, I think that you do need to be a part of the body of the Orthodox Church to be what I would consider somebody had the fullness of the truth. But I would not make a salvific claim and say that that you're going to go to hell or something like this. I wouldn't make such
Okay.
a salvific claim.
Now, the reason I ask is obviously I'm sure you saw the other debate because it was short. The guy Jay, he said that Protestants are heretics, and he made it as a very generalized statement. So I just wanted to know if you believe the same thing. If you're a heretic, I assume you believe that they're going to hell. And my
Well,
argument,
heresy. So, in order to be a heretic, it's not just the idea of bad theology. It's the idea of bad theology plus refuses correction. So there's many examples of people within the Protestant church you would call heretics, like Mormons.
Sure.
You would tell Mormons they're heretics because they believe in a false prophet named Joseph Smith. And you try to correct them, and when they won't take correction, then they fall into heresy, right? So
Okay.
Catholics would say the same thing about Protestants, and so would Orthodox, and Orthodox would consider Catholicism, at least most people in the Catholic faith, to also be heretical. Yes.
Okay. All right. No, that's I appreciate you answering that and having a respectful dialogue as opposed to the last one. And my question is, it's not it's not a assertion or anything like that. How do you reconcile with the majority of Christians not aligning with your definition of true Christianity?
They do.
Right. Well, I mean, you got what 900 million Protestants.
First of all, Catholic Church is the biggest denomination of Christianity.
I think
Period.
37. Well, sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said majority. 30. I meant to say
Want a
vast majority,
Pepsi,
but
dog?
37% is the
Yeah.
statistic.
Not only that, Protestantism is made up mostly in the West, but if you go to the East, Orthodoxy, Catholicism still has a big foothold in Western theology as well. And look at all the spin-offs from it, like Anglicans in England, things like
Yeah.
this, which are all branches which branched off of Catholicism itself. So the thing is like,
It's
no,
over,
I
dog.
think
It's
I
over.
don't think that you can even make a good fallacious appeal to authority here or appeal to majority here, because I don't think Protestants are not in the majority.
No. I misspoke, and you got me on that one. I think it was 37%, if I'm looking up the statistics correctly. And then there's the evangelicals. They make up a good chunk, I would say.
Yes.
And based off of those two demographics, Protestants and evangelicals, the vast majority of them do support Zionism. And I believe that your argument is,
Catholics
well,
and Orthodox don't, so we actually have them outnumbered.
sure, yeah. I mean, and like I
And
said,
do you
if
know
it's
why we don't? We don't for the reason of no good justification to say Christians should. If you could have given me good justifications in this
So-
debate, if I was ready for them, I had every argument ready. If there's a
Yeah.
good justification ready, I'm ready to hear it. But you
So-
didn't give a single good justification for why it is that Christians specifically should support Zionism. And it's like, and you don't really have a good one, man.
Yeah, you're just telling me I don't have a good one. I think mine is pretty damn good.
Well,
I
can you
believe
just
that-
reiterate it real quick before you go?
Okay, again, the Abrahamic covenant is a forever covenant. God is omnipotent. He doesn't make mistakes. He promised them land. He promised them a great nation, and he promised it to the Jews. And then the fact that Jesus forgave the Jews, even the ones that rejected him and crucified or helped crucify him with the Romans. I think that to emulate Christ would be to forgive and to support the same people that he did and that he was.
But
He was a Jew.
but I just want to let you know
Fucking
that
know
your
me, dog. You
reiteration,
don't fucking
what
know
we actually
me.
started with was this definition that Zionism is the right of the Jewish people to live in Israel and have that land. And
Based off of
now
what I
your
just said.
definition of support is not that they have that land. Your definition of support is just if they're oppressed, that Christians come to their aid. I want to let you know that I actually changed your own view on your own definition of Zionism before this debate was over.
You didn't. I just reiterated it in a different wording. But that's
So
okay.
do you think that
You can leave
Christians that Christians do need to support their right to that land?
I think that when you say right, I mean live in peace. All right. And again, to support them based off of the teachings of the Bible, like I just mentioned, I'll repeat it one more time: the Abrahamic covenant, which is forever because God's omnipotent. Jesus forgiving the Jews. Jesus blessing the Jews.
Nice,
Jesus
dude.
being a Jew.
Fucking
I think
piece
that
of
you
shit.
can, most people, right? And I understand that you are way more versed in theology than me, and you are interpreting that theology. You seem like a very intelligent person, but you are interpreting it in your way based off of your teachings. And there are many other